Process servers. This is also, I will tell you, a real life case that I handled. And it's not too far from what can come up regularly. Now, if you're a process server, you know the common thing is you're delivering papers to people, and 9 out of 10 or 19 out of 20 people are going to accept them more or less like a gentleman. It's not a big deal. You're delivering papers, and that is some nice money to be making, especially at $65 a serve, which is probably about nowadays here late into the 20th century, 21st century. That's about what you should be charging. But you're going to have problem people and problem children sometimes that you have to deliver. I don't mean problem children, but I mean people who are going to give you a hassle. And of course, you're going to charge more for those types of things, as I explained in the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Process Serving. But here's a real life case that I had as serving process. My client, I was working for the attorney, had his client was a woman in an abusive relationship. Here was the plan for her to get out of that abusive relationship and get a divorce. She was going to pack up all of her belongings and the kids, put them in the car, and take them to work with her. My job was to serve the husband. He had no idea this was coming. Serve him the divorce papers so that she could be away free and clear. If I failed, if I was unable to serve this guy, she would pack the kids and her belongings, come home from work, unpack everything like life was just fine, everything's normal. And I would try, and she'd spend another night with this monster, and I would try again the next day. And we would do this repeatedly until I could get this guy served. That's life-changing. That's rough. And that's a heavy burden to carry, to know you're sending a woman and children back into the house with a monster until you can do your job. You better know how to serve process in those tough circumstances in order to make this happen. Again, if you need training on this, the Investigator's Ultimate Guide to Process Serving. I got techniques in there that are remarkable and effective. But I've lived it. I've been there. I've done that. The results that I'm promising you in my courses, I've achieved in my life. Be careful for courses or anything where people are promising you results that they have not gotten in their own life. In this particular case, I pulled out my skill sets and I served this guy right away, day one. The woman and her children never had to go back home, never had to spend another night with that guy. That's the level you should be playing at. I say playing, but when you're a security or an investigative specialist, when you're a process server, private investigator, even my brothers and sisters in security, the bar is higher than what people think. You're responsible for people's safety and health and well-being. So take your profession seriously. Do the work you're paid to do. Don't slough off and don't just try to slip by with the bare minimum. Know what you're doing. And sometimes the cases you work, the things you do, will make a difference for the rest of a person's life and beyond. If you have any thoughts about this, please feel free to add them to the conversation. We can all learn from each other. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.